Buenas noches. Welcome back to another episode of the BPM podcast, your favorite podcast in the world. BPM stands for the Back Porch Mexican. You already know. If you're not following me on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, go ahead and do so. I put up some clips this week, getting good numbers, getting great feedback. Thank you for all your support. It is really appreciated. And without further ado, we're gonna get right into it. Last episode was about children being children, right? And I'm pretty sure you know someone in your life that's a grown a grown child, a grown adult that they don't have their ways and they're essentially just a big baby. At the end of the day, they don't know that they can take action into their own lives. They could take initiative to change their course or what have you. But we all know those big babies, right? They cry a lot, they complain a lot, blah blah blah, this and that, and at the end, what is going on with this freaking wire? Well, blooper right there, you know. But we're gonna leave it in because we don't edit nothing out unless I really say something that's off color, and you know me. I might say something that's off color, but it's not mi intención. Sorry for dropping a little español there. Um, it's funny because this episode it brought back this last episode I recorded. Um, I'm beginning to experience flashbacks of memories and things that I don't really keep in the back of my they're in the back of my head, so they're not always up front. I don't, unless it gets triggered by a conversation or something I hear, or uh, I got some stuff cooking in the back of my brain about my years in high school, and I've shared a couple of stories, but like that last episode was a little bit of a triggering episode because like it brought back memories that I'd had and I might be remembering wrong because you know how memory is. It fills in the gaps where you black out most of the time. And there's some. I'm trying to tell this story from a perspective of um, a grown adult, right? I'm growing, I'm changing. Stories have definitely impacted me in a way that I thought they were gonna be more impactful, but then I realized that like, oh, it's just how life is. Life is full of uh, nonsense, and then 10% of the nonsense is like good for you to carry on with your life. I'm not trying to sound like a motivational speaker because I hate motivational speakers, right? Like you can do it, you are the best. No, like motivation is not always there. It's not always gonna be available to you. Like there's days that I don't feel like right now. I don't feel like doing anything, right? But it's discipline that's keep me discipline, air quotes, that is keeping me afloat. I don't want to do this or that, or I don't want to motivate people. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here for fun, laughter, and enjoyment. That's the purpose of this. I get a laugh, and hopefully you get a laugh, and like it triggers laughter all around, and that's essentially all I want to do. I want to make people laugh, right? And come come into terms with with what I want. It's so bizarre, right? Because I've never been in a position where like, oh, this is what I want and this is what I'm gonna get. I've never had that like connection between what I want and getting it. It's always like, oh, it just happened, and by sheer luck, it happened to me, and I'll embrace it. But it's never been like, I want to set the tone for this, and I'm gonna get that, right? Never. And maybe just because how I grew up, or maybe because I'm delusional, or what have you. But essentially, I just want to make people laugh, and that's it. That's the bottom line. I'll give you some of my points of views on things that I find interesting, or that they find, or I stumbled upon. I brought you George, right? Remember George? Hello, Mama. That remember you, everybody remembers George. Um, that psychopath from TikTok that wants to have fall in love on the first date and make passionate love making and yeah, so things like that I find amusing. They're like, I'm like, how are these people like thinking it's okay to put out it is what it is, right? How is it okay to put out essentially a mating call, or a mating application to the world? And there's some crazy girl out there, but like, I want that. But that's my goal. My goal is to make you laugh, and hopefully you appreciate my content, and like, share, subscribe, rate my podcast wherever you listen on it. It could be Spotify, it could be Apple, it could be Stitcher, Amazon, uh, wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you rate me and like me and share me, please. If I make you giggle just once, throw me a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel. We hit 100 followers not too long ago. We are 104, I believe, now. So thank you for your support. Um, but like I was saying, motivation is not there always. It is your own uh, discipline that will get you to where you want to go, right? Like this, there's a couple people that, well, there's more than a couple people. There's a group of people that think that God is looking out for them, like that God is, uh, like he ain't got nothing going on, that that he has to worry about them individually, and the rest of the world can go kick rocks. That mentality I don't understand. I also don't understand the mentality of like, why do I find people um I find it satisfying when people go dumpster diving. I don't know why. I just like the other day I got myself consuming content of people dumpster diving, and I'm like, I wish I had the balls to go into a dumpster and fish things out. I just find it amusing, interesting, and part of me wants to do it, but part of me is like, dude, are you crazy? Are you really gonna dive into a dumpster and fish out office supplies? What are you gonna do with those, right? So I don't know where where, where do I get that satisfaction from? So instead of doing it, I just watch people do it and freak out when they get, Apple Charger, or a Fitbit, or a used video game, what have you, right? The saying goes, one man's trash is another man's treasures. So I don't know why I find it so interesting. Like, I don't understand a lot of things. A lot of things are beyond my comprehension, beyond my skills of comprehension. And that I don't understand. I believe I'm not the smartest. I believe I'm always behind the curve on about just about everything. Uh, but I believe that not thinking that I'm the smartest, because I'm not, or even saying that I'm not the smartest, it leaves the door open for new opportunities for me to learn things. And yet I'm still dumb. I'm still not the smartest, not the sharpest knife in the drawer, and I find that sometimes in my sober mind, it's uh it's hard to get words out in my sober mind. But when I am intoxicated with a little bit of bourbon and a little bit of, beer, words find themselves better. I find words to be more available, or maybe is that I don't put a screen through them, and I just say what I say. And sober mind is more, more of a like, oh, you can't say that because what are people gonna think of you? And letting go of like what is people gonna think of you? What are people gonna think of me? It's not easy, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to have different personalities for everyone you meet around. You have a different personality with your friends, different personality at work. You're a different person with your children. You're a different person with your parents. So all these personalities for me are like hard to maintain. I want to have just one for everyone. Oh, that just label me crazy, label me dumb, label me something, but I want to be that for everyone, right? And I don't want to have to like shuffle and change who I am for different people I meet. So leaving the door open for new knowledge, it is what this is how I got here. Like I'm like, oh, thinking about doing the podcast for so long. I started the podcast in 2021 or 2020. 2021 or 2021. I don't remember. I'm really bad with numbers. But I had been thinking about it and researching it and doing this and buying the equipment and buying that. And I'm like, you know what? And then I got started and I ate my first lesson. The audio is bad. The what you're recording is bad. It sounds low quality. It sounds like it should sound. I don't know what I'm doing, but and I almost gave up. And then I was like, you know what? I already bought all the equipment. Am I giving up because it's hard, or am I giving up because I'm scared of what people are gonna think? It was a little bit of both. And then I realized, like, who gives a fuck what people think? They're gonna still think regardless if I do it or don't. So what's stopping me? There I go, sounding motivational again. You know what I'm saying? I'm like fucking Tony Robbins over here. Tony Robbins, you gotta get up in the morning, put your boots on, look in the mirror, and say, "I got it going on." But you don't, so you lie to yourself to get out the door, and maybe somebody will kiss you. No, it's just sorry. I'm on coffee today, and is the good shit, like that stuff that you know the cartel drinks. It's coffee and a little bit of that Peruvian flakes. No, 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 none of that. Right? So like, I lose my. I was in between like, oh, should I do this? Should I? What are people gonna think of me? And then I was like, you know what? F what people think of me. I'm gonna do it because I want to do it, and whatever comes out of this brain is gonna be recorded, is gonna be put out, and I'm gonna do it week after week after week until I see a new way of doing it. And then I'm changing things here and there. I'm trying to, right? I'm still learning. 2 years in, a year and a half in, I'm still learning, and I don't have a timeline where like in 5 years I want to be doing. No, I'm taking these L's lessons now, so I can grow a little bit more, so I can do a little bit more, and like learning something at this age when you got kids, when you got responsibilities, it ain't easy because like you can only focus some mental capacity to it because the other time you got to focus on other things. And for those people, or for those you out there trying to learn something new and you got life going on, this is this is Antonio Robino talking to you right now. You trying to learn a new trade, a new hobby, a new something, just do it. Start. Don't start saying, but what if I don't, if I suck? What if it doesn't, what if I don't like it? Don't stop yourself from doing things you want to do, because eventually you're going to get old. You're not going to be able to run. You're not going to be able to do archery. You're not going to be able to, you know, whatever it is that you want to do it now, because tomorrow ain't promised, buddy. Um, which is which is a good segue to brings me to this uh, Chinese spy balloon. I have so many questions that I don't understand about uh, aerial stuff. Aerial, aerial. One of you, you know what it is. This is my second language. So this Chinese spy balloon. Everybody's freaking out. It's like, you let it fly over the entire continent of the United States of America, buddy. But don't they have satellites already? Don't the Chinese have? What could that balloon do that a satellite can't do? That's my question. Second question. Do we have balloons that we lose control over into Russia, China, Mexico? I don't know. I researched, and this is not the first time it happens. You know, Chinese 4 years ago, they went out there and shot one down. Um, I have this clip that I'm gonna show you about this the balloon. I'm gonna play it. All right. Um,
Was quite the sight on a Saturday afternoon over South Carolina. Boom! Wow! A spectacle.
Hell yeah.
But a moment of potential huge
Spectacle.
consequence too.
That's my Air Force right there, buddy.
At 2:39 in the afternoon, a single air-to-air missile fired from one of two American F-22 fighter jets. A direct hit on the white dot, which has caused days of intrigue,
the Air Force shooting down this balloon, and this lady goes, "That's my Air Force there, buddy." Girl, that ain't your Air Force. You didn't sign up. You didn't sacrifice nothing. That's the Air Force of the United States of America, first of all, and you had nothing to do with it. The crazy part is that, like, the governor of, I believe, Montana went out there and was like, "Hey, don't try to shoot your fucking AKs into the air. You won't reach." It is at 60 to 65,000 feet in the air. Commercial flights fly 40,000 feet in the air. Armed services fly at 50. And this was at 60, 65. It could go up to 100,000 feet in the air. And especially this balloon, they were doing some research on it, or not on the balloon itself, on like the things it could do. It could go up and down, so it can maneuver to catch wind draft depending on where the wind was going, right? Because the wind goes like this at different elevations, I'm assuming. And it could go left and right. And it had solar panels, so it was being powered. So now, they shot it over the Carolinas into the ocean. What's next? They're going to retrieve it and find out that it was collecting evidence. But is China collecting evidence through other means? Yes. TikTok. Number one. TikTok is probably the number one spyware across the world. And people were like, no, they're just dancing and, bull crap. You think Chinese government is not going to be like, actually, we need to see every TikTok account from the United States and everything that TikTok is linked to, give it to us. Just let me have all that data. We'll see what we can do with it. We have Google, in some shapes or form, they spying on us. We have satellites. That's my question. Are satellites not allowed to point to other countries? Could we detect a satellite from a foreign government pointing into our, let's say, our missile silos or our military bases? Could we tell if they're doing that? Do we have that technology? I don't know. So people are freaking out about this, but I'm not freaking out. Like, if it's not the first time it happens, but it just happened to be at the right moment, right, where things are escalating in Ukraine and and what have you. My first initial thought was like, all right, this is the first time I hear of this ever. I never heard of a balloon flying into another country's airspace. So now, is that a threat? Is that a violation of airspace of a foreign, of a what's the word I'm looking for? Of a sovereign country? I don't know this thing. So if you know, let me know on the comments in my YouTube channel and on my email. You let me know. I've had, out of all of this, out of all the videos I've watched of the Chinese balloon, the most funny thing I've found is that lady saying, "That's my Air Force there, buddy." Like she's like, "Yeah, we got you, homie." People are freaking crazy. All right, let's move on to the next clip. Well, this is where I tell you something good of the episode. This is what I'm gonna do now from now on. If I can find something good to tell you about, I will tell you. But if I don't, well, I'll tell you bad things only. This I watched it today or yesterday. Yesterday I watched it. Is a cop in Texas caught in a tornado, and he goes back. There's no audio to this, to the footage of him saving the dog. Goes back into his patrol car and retrieves his canine, which I found like heartwarming. I was like, yeah, you know. And it's pretty amazing. It's here's the cop going out there. He's like, I gotta get a leash first because homeboy's gonna trip balls. This other cop's like, hell no, I'm going in. And there's a fence. You can see the fence on the right hand side. And I was like, it's not blowing that hard. And all of a sudden, the camera goes dark. Right here, it starts to go dark. Right there, boom. It doesn't go dark, but it's just wind and water, and you can't see nothing for a couple of seconds. And now the fence has moved. It's against the patrol car. And here comes the guy with the dog, the cop with the dog. I found this heartwarming, even though I'm not a big fan of dogs. That is amazing. That dude, like, that's amazing. That they could do a little bit of everything, right? And they're humans at the end of the day. Just like the last episode, or the previous to the last, the cops were being scrutinized for doing things on the job. And this cop is like, you know what? I'm going to set the example. I'm going to save my dog. We need more people like that in this world. And that's a hard job. You know it. I know it. And no one wants to admit that it's a hard job. That's the good note of the day. I'll tell you something good. That's it right there. That's the new segment of this episode, or the next episode. So I'm going to research or search for good things happening, not just bad things. Like that spy balloon. Come on. Come on. That's pretty bad. I think it's pretty bad. But with that, my friends, listen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting me. I hope you guys have a fun. I sound like a moron now. Just do you. Live your life. Peace. Play us. Play us.